Perhaps listeners will disagree with me, but I have some problems with the notion that bankruptcy will come to the rescue of many small businesses. First, if COVID-19 has made a business model unworkable, a bankruptcy stay will not solve that. Even if the operation were to emerge from bankruptcy with its liabilities wiped out, it will just drive itself back into the ditch unless a vaccine or effective treatments emerge and are widely distributed very soon. Second, companies need cash to keep operating. Perhaps I'm out of date, but I have not heard of much or any debtor-in-possession financing being available to little enterprises. A longer bankruptcy process requires more cash to get through it. Third, credit to businesses ranging from credit cards to SBA loans require personal guarantees. The only exception is secured lending, such mortgaging real estate owned by the business or equipment finance. So many small business owners will be reluctant to declare bankruptcy until it is absolutely unavoidable, because it will trigger a personal bankruptcy as well. Finally, I am a bit puzzled about the call for a longer bankruptcy process. My understanding is state and federal courts are already operating on slower timetables due to backlogs created by lockdowns. And with bankruptcy courts seeing the early age of a tsunami of bankruptcy filings, I doubt they will be processing cases quickly either. Having said that, I do not know someone who declared a small business bankruptcy in the dot-bomb era. His firm was due to get a $2 million contract with United signed on September 12, 2001. He failed to downsize rapidly enough due to poor cash flow forecasting, and while his business did survive, it went from 27 employees to 6, although he has rebuilt somewhat from there. The coronavirus pandemic and its lockdown forced almost a third of all small businesses in the United States to close. Some closed in good shape. An estimate increased the percentage by almost 2%, or over 100,000. The remaining and slowly opening should go through a number of restrictions, including restrictions on customers who may be reluctant to take a haircut for themselves, eat, or participate in other activities that put it next to others. Even in regions of the country that have not yet had too many COVID-19 cases, businesses are reopened to a significantly smaller crowd, which endangers their survival. What these businesses need right now is a breathtaking space that allows them to continue working and find a plan to continue while temporarily freezing their spending. In many cases, this means declaring bankruptcy. While bankruptcy is often associated with layoff, it also aims to help current companies improve their return to profitability. The problem is that bankruptcy law does not provide enough time to do this in the middle of pandemic. Ongoing health concerns will put pressure on economic activity that knows how long it can last, even as bills and other costs increase. As bankruptcy scholars, we believe there is a way to fix this. Job creators, small businesses, especially those with fewer than 20 employees, such as your local restaurant, nail salon, and pet sitter, make up about 90% of all private companies and about 2/3 of all new jobs created in the United States. The temporary or permanent closure of many contributed significantly to the historical unemployment levels experienced in April and May. The Congress created the Paycheck Protection Program, which could pay $659 billion to save small businesses and the millions they employ. However, businesses should use most of the revenue for payroll, companies still have to pay rent, utilities, insurance premiums, and other ongoing costs. While some may postpone these costs, they cannot do this forever. Businesses will eventually have to deal with unpaid and unmet obligations. Some businesses may have sufficient backlog to eliminate the outbreak, or access fresh capital from owners who usually delete their personal savings, including pension funds. However, for many others, crashing past expenses will threaten their ability to continue working, even if the business models is generally sound. Bankruptcy to the rescue. While bankruptcy usually serves as an organized way to close down permanently, it can also be used to hold off creditors while a company restructures its debts and continues operations under Chapter 11. Upon filing, an automatic stay on collection efforts goes into effect, which prevents eviction, foreclosure, or repossessions of inventory and equipment while the business comes up with a plan. For many businesses struggling in the aftermath of COVID-19, however, the issue is not backlog of debt, but simply a lack of immediate revenue to make short-term obligations, especially rent and payroll. And there is really no knowing how long revenue will remain below normal, with concerns that infection rates are soaring in parts of the country that are opening up. Until recently, very few small businesses were able to reorganize successfully under Chapter 11, opting instead to find alternative solutions under state law or to simply go out of business altogether. Last year, Congress made it little easier for companies with less than $2.7 million in debt to navigate bankruptcy successfully by reducing the regulatory burdens and offering more support. But even after the lawmakers increased the debt ceiling to $7.5 million as part of their coronavirus response, small businesses still do not have what they need most right now, which is time. In bankruptcy cases, debtors are required to adhere to extremely strict time frames, many of which are accelerated for small businesses. Upon filing, debtors are required to meet with the court quickly to present a proposed plan for how they expect to be profitable going forward. Debtors have 90 days to come up with a plan under which they can repay most creditors slowly. Over the next 3 of 5 years, there's an important exception, however, for rent payments. If debtors wish to retain their leases, they need to pay timely rent going forward immediately after filing, and have to repay all past due rent in full as soon as their plan is confirmed. In other words, while there is some wiggle room with other past due bills, such as wages, utilities, and even taxes, there is a hard deadline with rent, which for many is the largest expense of all. These time frames and special rules regarding rent were drafted with a normal, functioning economy in mind and did not consider the disruption caused by a global pandemic. Respite needed. The latest proposal by a group of bankruptcy experts, including us, suggested that small businesses affected by the global epidemic be given extra time during the bankruptcy process. Proposed changes normally freeze bill collection, but freeze court proceedings over the next 6 months, a desperate deadline to better understand the long-term effects of the pandemic. This proposal will encourage borrowers to navigate with the borrowers by providing borrowers with a mandatory breathing room to escape the inflexible provisions surrounding the rent. We hope this will provide such businesses with the time and space they need to remain the backbone of the United States economy. Most of the idea, comment, information, and criticism containing in these videos have been created by Daily News Report. Before making any important investment decision, use the information contained in these videos as a starting point for conducting your own research. If you make any investment or legal decision, it is advised to consult an expert before making this decision.